Well, good morning, everyone. Thanks for being here with us today at East High School. We're got some exciting things coming up today. We have an opportunity to celebrate the work of some of our East seniors who are going to be surprised by being named National Merit semifinalists. To qualify, these students take the PSAT as a junior and have the highest scores in the state. They represent less than 1% of high school seniors nationwide. So we're very excited to celebrate them and their families and their hard work over their entire school career. So that's coming up here in a few minutes. Monday night, we celebrated a number of senior student achievement data points. We're going to be talking a little bit about the class of 25. We give something called the senior survey to the class. Upon exiting as a senior, we ask seniors to fill out a survey to give us some data points. Some things to celebrate about the data from the senior survey this year. Nearly 18% of the class of 25 was the first in their family to graduate high school. 40% of seniors were the first in their family to enroll in technical school or a 2 or 4-year college. And nearly 90% of seniors who graduated high school in the class of 2025 left with a plan for what they were going to do next, whether that was continuing their education, going into the military, or going directly into the workforce. So we're excited. These are trajectory-changing opportunities that we have for our kids, being the first in their family to not only graduate, but to also achieve post-secondary success and enroll in post-secondary opportunities. 82% of our seniors took the ACT test, and 64% took the ACT work keys, which is the work keys, if you're not familiar, is an exam that measures essential workplace skills. We also saw increases in both of those areas on our student scores on those tests. It was also shared on Monday night that more students are taking AP, Advanced Placement, dual credit, and concurrent credit courses than ever before to start getting credit, college credit, while in high school. We've also seen an increase in students who are earning industry-recognized credentials, which can help students get a jump start on a career right out of high school if that's the opportunity that they want to pursue. We know that setting up students for success in high school can change the trajectory of their lives, which is a key part of our mission to genuinely create students who are future ready. I will continue to say this: our students earn their high school diplomas. They're not given a diploma. We commend their efforts and their hard work to reach those goals. And so in class of 2025, we have a lot to celebrate. On Monday night, we also had 2 agenda items that the board approved for the sale of Clark and Payne elementary schools. These 2 schools were closed at the end of the 23-24 school year to reduce budget expenditures and our ongoing facility maintenance backlog. We know that these are some of the hardest decisions we make as a school district. We know that the loss of a school is a loss for those neighbors in that community. And so we want to honor that community and lift up and support the neighbors and the neighborhood around those schools as best we can. And we've really tried to be intentional and honor that with a lot of community input. So we've engaged with our real estate sales committee. So we have a standing committee of volunteers from the community that sit on that committee, along with district employees, business members, and others. They looked at the criteria, including the criteria that we use for selling buildings, including community impact, intended use, price, and long-term benefits for the project in the community. So Payne Elementary was sold to Pixius for $415,000. They provide mental health and foster care support for youth and other support services for children in the community. The sale will allow the organization to expand their services, and they plan to be within that occupying that building within 6 months. Clark Elementary School was sold to Wichita Classical School to be used for their upper campus for grades 7 through 12. The school currently has ties to the community in the school's neighborhood. A number of students from Classical School have been volunteering for years at Clark Elementary, reading to students, etc. Wichita Classical School begins to plan renovation immediately and use the school as early as January 2026. The cost of that sale was $600,000. We're pleased that the buildings that we no longer have need for can continue to be used to support our community and partners amongst the Wichita area. I wanted to quickly touch on enrollment numbers also. We are hearing from our schools they're still enrolling students. That's not abnormal for us, that we tend to enroll students well into after the start of the school year. The state's official count day is September 22nd of this year, so coming up here in a couple days. That's important because all of our school funding is really based on that day. We won't have official numbers until later this month, but preliminary numbers show that our enrollment numbers are down. There are many factors as to why this is the case, including declining birth rate. We've been expecting enrollment decreases based on projections of demographic reports of our consultants the last few years. We had consultants do studies, and they said that we should expect this population to decline, so we aren't surprised. But this is also why we'll continue to look at right-sizing the school district. We've been discussing that, and we'll continue to discuss that. We need to continue to meet the needs of today's students while building capacity for the future. We have a couple minutes before our National Merit semifinalist surprises, so I can take questions at this time if there are any. And maybe we may.
So the report card came out today or yesterday about high school reading non-performance down to the lowest level in 20 years. What are you guys seeing in regards to that?
Yeah, I think you're referencing the NAEP report, the Nation's report card, as it's called. So nationally, we've seen a decline since COVID. There was and I'm speaking nationally, but similar trends for Wichita. Before COVID, we were seeing pretty steady increases. Since COVID, there's been a decline and a continued, not a continued progression downward, but we still haven't gotten back to the pre-COVID levels. I think there's just continued still, work to do as from student attendance to, getting students caught up when you miss a lot of education. They missed 25% of a school year 1 year, essentially. It still continues to have an impact nationwide.
How does Wichita stack up nationally compared to maybe other school districts of similar size when it comes to those?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think the nation's report card is really at a state level. It doesn't get too down into the district level. But as we compare, we compare to similar urban districts like us that have similar poverty levels, similar demographic makeups, and there are ones we aspire to be more like. I think that Des Moines Public Schools is one that outperforms us. And they've done some really good things strategically and structurally to improve their data. But we do outperform others, Casey Mo, St. Louis, some of those. So it's a good question because the measuring stick, it's hard in the state of Kansas because we're so unique as a school district, being 46,000 students. By far the biggest district, and the most diverse in a lot of ways. So it's hard to compare apples to apples. So we do look nationally with some of that. So
I guess what are you guys actively doing to try to combat this problem? Has there been kind of a change in focus, and how do you guys approach this to try to get levels back where they should be?
I think that's a great question. I think the investments we've made in reading have paid off, and you've seen our data trending in a very positive direction. Even at the high school level, we saw significant. I think it was about a 12% increase in reading scores at the high school level in the last 2 years. We still have a lot of work to do in that area, but at least it's trending in the right direction. Math is one that has been more flat as far as our data goes, but we have, the school board has invested in curriculum and intervention programs that we feel like we're in year one, and we feel like that's going to begin changing the trajectory there as well. We appreciate you guys being here today. So thank you.